Yes. Hi everybody, welcome by seminar 9 of Spiritual Grow and Development. I give these teachings for the audience in the public, but I'm also giving it to you home, so you can see on YouTube my videos about spiritual growth and personal development, and I do this session in English so everyone can follow me and can hear me what I'm saying, and all this knowledge is going all over the world, so it will be very nice to see that everyone can understand me about the deep knowledge about spiritual growth and development. So, welcome Paul by this great seminar about the Hawkins oeuvre.
Yeah, thank you.
I heard that you read not yet the books, but you heard about it, so it's a very nice introduction, I think, about this subject. About, I think it is the main issue here is long-term grounded happiness. So not the short-term moves you go into a Walibi Flevo, or you go to a kindergarten, or you go to a zoo or whatever, that you're sprinkling happiness about it, and you come home and then you have a boring time, and then you put on your Netflix, and that kind of moves about happiness. But this is about grounded happiness in your life, and do it on a structural higher level than the average people in this world. And this Hawkins made 25 years of experience in spiritual levels and in happiness, so he really knows something about it. He wrote his Ph.D. about spiritual levels and converted into all the books he has written. So also for the people home, he wrote nearly 10 books and very depth knowledge about spiritual growth and long-term happiness, and I read them all. I made also early videos about it on my YouTube channel, and I summarized it, 4,000 pages approximately, and I summarized it for you in this session. So that's I have done the last week, one evening. I scanned it all, my underlinings, and made the summary there. Yeah, maybe it's interesting about you, Paul. Can you tell something about you and what you expect about this seminar?
Yeah, so I haven't read the book yet, but I did definitely have an interest in Mr. Hawkins. He seems to be very, very knowledgeable about the subject of spirituality, and also with a unique perspective of going very deep. And I was quite triggered just with the fullness and like the bit of the holistic perspective he took on it. So I hope to go deeper in the things he has said.
Thank you for your explanation, very wordful about deeper aspects, and also about the psychology, I think, behind this material. What he was doing is actually making a map of consciousness. So in the spiritual world, it is mostly it stays by going into yourself, be aware, let go, and all those freely words you see in spirituality, and we don't actually what that means. What is that letting go? What is awareness? What is consciousness? What is spiritual growth? And he made a very good map where you can really see how it works, the process of spiritual growth. So it is visible. You make it easy to understand what the levels are, so it gives you some tightness, it gives you something to fall on. So if you're home or you're unhappy, or if you have an unhappy situation, then you can easily go to the map of consciousness and see, okay, where I am, in which vibration or energy field you are, where you are with your mind. So it is easy to understand with this map where you are and where you can go in the future, and be aware there's on a race, of course, enlightenment of spiritual growth on a race to go higher, or to be in a competition mood, right? It is just see where you are and how you can grow in spirituality. You've also visions from some kind of spiritual guys who say everything is okay, what you're doing, everything is okay, how you are, how you look, what you're doing, everything is okay with you, it is fine, let go. And he's some guy who's saying, this guy, David Hawkins, MD, Ph.D, very smart guy, is saying, okay, you can improve yourself. You can always improve yourself. You can be happy with yourself, but there is always a moment or a period in your life that you can grow. Growing all your life, I have to say, actually. So your starting point is not that you're okay with yourself or not good with yourself, because 85% of the world population is living in negative destruction, in negative energy fields. They are thinking negative about themselves and about their world and their surroundings, with their complainings, with their unhappy feelings about the past and the future. So a lot of people, it is not good how it is. You can grow. You can grow in personal development, and that's actually what he's saying, and he wants to say with this map of consciousness. It's clear?
Yes.
Good introduction. Okay. If something not clear, you can always interrupt. If I go too quick, too fast, I'm very deep in the material. I can go from A to B to C. Tell me, then I can slow down and you can easily follow it.
Alright.
Okay, perfect. On page 91 on the book, the true, I have to say, true and falsehood, excuse me. On page 91, you can see what the distribution is of levels of consciousness of mankind. And what you can see here, I don't know if Paul also can see it, is that 84%, 78%, it depends which year it is has a constructive energy, so negative energy into themselves and in their surroundings. So there's a lot. 78% below the conscious level of 200. I will explain to you the different levels of consciousness. They're going from 0 to 1000. From 0 to 1000, and 1000 is enlightenment. Enlightenment is the highest stage you can reach, like Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, or show there on 1000. I will tell exactly the stages you can go through. But what you see in this picture was that 78% of the world population is lower than 200. 200 is the switch through destructive energy and positive and empowerment. So you see also that ego is more evolved lower than 200, and how more above 200, how less the ego is involved, is attached with your mind. If you have a really strength ego, then you are mostly all very unhappy. We can talk about ego mechanisms, I think, in a later seminar, but here I want to focus more on the conscious levels and about behavioral patterns. It's very important by these emotions, what we're going to treat, is that you can be aware of your own emotions. So if we call about anger, fear or shame, then you can recognize by yourself, okay, when I'm shameful, when I'm angry, why I'm angry, where I'm fear, what's the fearful situation here? And then you can reflect yourself. So self-reflection is a very important mechanism in spiritual growth. And this is what is totally forgot for that you're going in meditation or contemplation or chakra activations or crown chakra activation, heart chakra activation, palm chakra activations. There are all those energetic, esoterical movements in the body. But before that stage, you have to go to psyche, to mind, how the mind works, how the mind mechanisms works. If you know that, then you can go to higher stages. So you have to first go in psychologic, in the psyche. And if you go in psychologic, then afterwards you have to go to spirituality. So that's the last stage of personal development. So first we have to go to psyche, what's going on in your mind, to break the ego down and to understand that certain emotions, long-term emotions, are not good for your spiritual development and reaching higher energetical vibration levels. Clear?
Yes.
Going quick, right? Or not? I see you're thinking and reflecting and absorbing the energy and the thoughts I give you in a very tempo mind. So we go from 0, 20 to 1000 in spiritual levels. And this is coupled with happiness. So on page 197 of Modern Man and Evolution, you see exactly 500 pages also in this book. There's very a lot of information. And 197, you see here that how higher you are in your spiritual levels, how more happy you are in your life. And that's actually what everyone is searching. So you see here some small point, and you see here also the map. Here, that how lower you are in your map of consciousness, how lower your happiness is. So that's where everyone is searching for more happiness, and I think also some kind of stability where you can't fall back on it. So more stability in your life, that you're not going high, low, but you're stable in your life for security. Okay, it will be a little bit a ladder, so it can be a little pragmatic, but we go really to the stages. So first stage is shame. It's the lowest energetical vibration stage there is. Shame. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be on this earth. You don't want to be in a group. Nobody can see you. You do hide. I don't want to be here. I'm shameful. I'm an ugly person. I cannot offer something to this world. Shame. It's a very interesting emotion. Hide. emotion of a lot of times is shy and introversion. Introversion personalities are more shameful in situations. They're afraid how people reject. They're very sensitive persons, so they can fall easy in shame. And I don't talk about shame if you're sometimes shameful about if you, I don't know, if you fall on the street because it's very glad, or you fall with your bicycle, that can be shameful, right? If people are locked, but I haven't about shame on long-term perspectives. So if you're long-term shame about your appearance or your attitude or whatever, you can be shameful. The fear of rejection, also low self-esteem is here involved. And you have also a lot of times, and that was I see also that people who can be very shy can also have very negative emotions about others. So it's a very low field where you can be in. Paul, maybe you can tell something about shame. You have some shameful experience in your life.
Shame. Yeah, I think it's maybe the first thing I associate with puberty. You have so much. I had so much really trying to reflect myself on other people and think what other people would think of me, and maybe I also was a little bit ashamed of who I was. I was maybe a bit doubting about if people would like me, if I would do the correct thing. So I think it's especially a state of mind which I experienced during puberty.
Yes, it's an interesting and a very interesting topic what Paul is saying, that you be aware what others are finding about you, right? They can judge about you, how you are, how you move, how you behave, what you're talking about. And of course, we're coming from lower schools and high schools, and we are in groups, and that makes it not easy to be anti-conform or different or smarter than the rest or whatever. So that is an emotion what is deep rooted in our nature, because it is not easy to survive outside the group. If you look back in nature and jungle DNA in our body, then we see we're still like animals, and outside the group is not easy. So you be conform, you hide, and you see what's happening in the group. It's not easy to talk freely, because you don't want to fall outside the group. But now in this period of in this century, that mechanism still works in your mind, but you have to put it in a dustbin in the corner. Okay, we can share, we can open, and if you don't like me, I go to another one. If I don't like this group, I go to another group, or I make my own group with my book club. So you create your own audience. So, and that's interesting. That fear is really deep in your consciousness. It's deep in your mind level, but you can overcome it to say, okay, is this not my group? Then I go to another group. Fuck off.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting topic, how people think about you, and then you don't do what you actually want to do in this life, or where you formate it in this life, what your real deep core passion is. This is a passive emotion. We go first, and you think maybe aggression, violence, punish people, raping, killing people, murdering. That are the most destructive energies in the world. You think that? No, it's not true. It is the passive emotions first. Because there is no action inside. So we cannot turn the flip. First, you have to make action. So if you're angry on something, we can transpose it in positive angriness and can reach something because there is energy inside. If we look in the first row of behaviors, we see passiveness. There's low energy and we cannot transform that energy into positive energy, into chakra energy and into enlightenment stages. So we have to tackle first the passive emotions where you don't do anything and hide yourself and be passive. That's the reason why David was putting the passive emotions first. Consciousness suicide. Shame is consciousness suicide. Tackle shame out of your life. Throw it in the dustbin. Throw it away. No shame. No shame who you are. Show yourself who you are. And don't think what others think about you. That's very destructive. It's clear?
It's clear.
Thank you. You have questions about it?
No, not about this yet.
Okay, fine. We go to the second stage of spiritual happiness, spiritual growth, and that is guilt. That is 30. So shame was 20, guilt was 30. Guilt is very into our consciousness. Since religion in the past, we feeling guilt, or we go to hell if we do something wrong, and guilty feelings were incorporated in our consciousness, in our system. Also, in the early stage, if we lived in the jungle and the prehistory, the gods will punish us if we don't do this and don't do that. So we always have some guilty feelings, or sometimes about our past, how we treat our countries, how we treat people from other countries, Africa, colonists, or what we see, climate change. Maybe there happens a lot of things, so we're always in some guilty mood. I don't say that climate change is not a problem, but we can. There's a lot of exaggerating inside. Exaggerate. We always, from guilty aspects, we exaggerate things, and mostly our leaders will let people feeling guilt because guilty feelings are doing what the leaders want. So you see that mechanisms a lot in our society, but can also be in interpersonal relationships. So maybe you have a friend and you feel guilty what you did 2 years ago, that you scream to him, or you give him a hand clap, bitch, or what is it? And you feel guilty about it 2 years ago. But you still clinch to the past. That's what David Hawkins are saying. We don't have to feel guilty about the past. We don't have to feel too much guilty about the future. Stay in the here and now, and don't let you control yourself by others to let you feel guilt. Don't do self-punishment. That's also not good because we are feeling guilty because maybe there are too much people on this earth, and then we say, then I don't want to have a children myself because I feel guilty because there are so many people in this world. So we're reflecting on our own behavior and we do self-punishment from guilty feelings. So that's also not really how you deal with kind of emotions, what Hawkins is saying in his book. So guilty feelings is very important. I was guilty in my life if I'm not training every day or something, or I feel guilty if I don't work on my company every day, or if I don't study every day. So there is some trade-off between fanatical and guilty feelings, of course. But guilt can be also in work-related, obvious that you have to work every day, and you feel guilty if you don't do that. Do we have some example about guilt, or you disagree about me about some subjects, or you think guilt is?
Well, I was thinking, is it also couples? You say if you don't, maybe you think like you don't work too much. I see sometimes around me people feel like very much obliged to show up to their work and to really set foot on there, even though maybe sometimes it's better to maybe take a step back, or think a bit more about yourself. Like this overvaluation of either work or training. Is it part of guilt?
If you work too hard, or can be incorporated in our Christian Calvinistic approach. So that's also what Hawkins are saying. We're growing up in our ages in kind of you have to work for God. So that is incorporated in our consciousness, in our DNA. You have to work because work makes you free, and that's still in our mind. So you see people are working 60, 70 hours, get a burnout, and they recover from the burnout, and they are starting again, and the whole circle is going on, burnouts, bore-outs, whatever. So work ethics, I think is very good, and I think that it has to be in balance. Yeah, but people can feel guilty about that. I feel guilty if I don't do anything on my company, or I don't read something, or I study not. I feel guilty that I don't do anything during that day. But you can also feel guilty through against your colleagues. Your colleagues have group pressure there, you have to work hard, stay until 6 o'clock, time pressure over there. So you see also guilty feelings can be arising on the work floor, and if you not conform to the main emotions and the main work ethics of it.
Yeah.
So there also can arise guilty feelings. Is it an answer on your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. If it's not, you can also feel not guilty to ask if it's not the right answer, or I can more specify your answers in this mood. We go further to the more higher stages. We're actually very low. We're under the 200 levels of consciousness, under the 200 spiritual stages. So we're under 200, so we're still in negative energy. Be aware, 74%, of the people in this world are acting in shame, acting in fear, acting in anger, acting in the third one is apathy. If I say it correctly, I don't know, I find it a very difficult word. Is 50. So 50 consciousness levels is, you say it in Dutch, neerslachtigheid. Nihilism. If you talk about philosophy, nihilism. Nihilism is life is not meaningful. Life is senseless. Life is you. You go in, you're born, you have your work, your family, and you die. And that's okay. But there is no meaning in life. So nihilism is related to apathy. Life is senseless, I work a little bit, I have a boring job, I don't search for better jobs, I don't improve myself, I have a low job, I can do better, but it's okay. I go home, I watch Netflix all the evening, I'm sitting on my couch, I have my chips, I have my Coca-Cola, and I go to sleep. And I wake up, and I sleep, and I wake up, and I sleep, and then I go to office, and everything is fine. I have a boring man at home, I have a boring wife, but it's fine. That kind of attitude is passiveness. Nihilism is apathy. Hopelessness. You're hoping not anymore. You're not hoping on a better future for yourself. Hopelessness. I can't do this. I can't do that. Life is senseless. Mostly there is poverty also inside in this stage of nihilism. From I'm poor, I have not much, and you give the guilt to others. So the government is guilty, other people is guilty, so you transfer your inner feelings to others. So that is what you see in this stage. Victimhood, victimization is a very important word in the issue in the Hawkins books. Victimhood. People are always searching for victims and always searching for victims outside themselves. So always the other is feeling guilty. Depression is related to this stage. Depression is also a very passive mood. You don't want to do anything in depression. I had a depression of 1 week. That's possible. It's you don't want to do anything. I didn't want to sports. I didn't want to train. It's nothing for me. But you can be in depression for 1 week. To have the feeling what it is very scary. But depression is also related to nihilism and to this stage. You reject help in this stage. A lot of people are rejecting help. I don't need a coach. If people are saying that so quickly to me, I know you can better have a coach. I don't need a coach. You sure? If you're saying that to me, you need a coach, I swear. Poverty is also related to this stage. If you're very poor, then you're not really want to grow and go this close to death. You're also cynical, bitterness, close to death. That are the things were related to apathy. You sometimes feel, Paul, that your life is senseless, purposeless.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. Well, not my whole life in general. That would be too much of an exaggeration. But work, for example, can sometimes feel senseless. Sometimes contact with other people can feel senseless because there's no high. There's no real connection, maybe.
Understand.
And also thinking, because you were also talking, it's coupled to like nihilism and hopelessness. I have some sort of a comment, I think it was from Nietzsche in my head. He said like hope is one of the worst emotions of man because it prolongs the torments of man.
Yeah.
How would you comment on that?
Yeah. So hopeless is related to future, right? You hope on something. You hope that the survivors come to Earth, right?
Yes.
The philosopher.
Just hope.
You hope, yeah. You see in relation a lot, the survivor comes on Earth. The new Jesus is coming, or the new prophet is coming. So we're always going to future. The hope is there. We will be saved. Still hoping, and then the prophet is here. Then the prophet will be killed. So Jesus will hang on the cross or something. So if he's here, you don't want to be here because you're addicted to the hope. People are addicted to hope, are addicted to future, and not living their lives from now in this moment. And you can make your life meaningful in this moment too. It's not really future related or something. You can make your life meaningful. So maybe you're going dead and your soul is rising up and go to another body or another animal or whatever, but you can make this life meaningful. I think that's the right approach to make your life the best life ever, to make it meaningful. You can make your life meaningful. I think that is the nice way to approach this stage. Yes? Let's go further. The next stage is grief. And that is 75. Grief is when your parents died, one of your best friends died. Very horrible situation, of course. Very painful if you lose someone in your life, you feel empty. The web of Murphy is mostly there also involved, so it happens something, a negative event, and then your house is on fire, or you will be fired on your work. So you see all the negative events coming in once. I remember that I lost my girlfriend, I lost my job, and I had to go search for another house. So you see that of Murphy is a lot of times are involved in our world, in our lives. So that's what you see. But what I talk about is that you clinch the past. Here also the same as by shame. Is that you clinch the past. You're always going back from all this big loss what I had in my life, and I want that the guy is still here, or the love of my life is gone, and you don't go really further, and you're still attached to the past. That's what you see in this stage, and you feel empty, and you're staying there, and that is, you're too attached, and that's what Hawkins also saying about this level, is that you are staying there. You stay in grief mood. And that's not what you will bring further in life. I think this one is clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Fair. It's just to understand mostly where you are in your mind, what kind of emotions are there, how we can tackle it before we can reach higher stages of spirituality. Fear. A lot of fear in our society. It can be real fear, but what you see in Buddhism, or we have a fear moment, and that is the real fear, but we always go in mentalization it, that we staying in that fear. So I know some women, and a guy was screaming to her bad words, but she's staying in that mood because every time she came to meet a guy or She see a guy, she was always remembering about that past event where a guy was nasty to her. So what you see is fear, not so much related to the first event. We have to tackle that, we have to meditate about it, we have to recover from that first emotion. But people are staying in 30 moments, and you see that the next events are mostly coupled to the first event. So we make our fear bigger than actually the fear is. That's what you see mostly in life. Now you see by some diseases, viruses, that mostly the fear is, everyone becomes fear, and mostly sometimes you see that the virus is not so, mortality is not so high as expected or something. So you see also a lot of fear based on non-facts. That's also what you see a lot. Fear of losing love, fear of losing your relationship, fear of losing your partner. Very important. People are so fear to lose their relationship, and that makes relationship not really constructive and positive if you are constantly fear of losing someone. That creates also neuroticism, what Hawkins are saying, and creates also jealousy. So if you fear of losing a guy, then you go easily in control mode. Oh, he's not cheating on me. You get that story. So your energy is going there because your energy has to go to enlightenment or to a spiritual growth, and your energy is constantly there, right? So jealousy, neuroticism are related mostly to love. Fear of losing your youth outside. Also fear. Oh, I become old. I become ugly. I become here. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to stay young. The fear of becoming old. The fear of losing money. People with a lot of money are most fear of losing all the money. So that's also what you're seeing in fears. Fear of losing money, fear of losing love, fear of losing your youth skin. Fear of boredom. People are bored in this life. They're going shopping in town because they're bored. They're going to a movie, they're bored. So we have to tackle boredom. Then you don't have to fill up all those things with escapism. So the fear of boredom is also inside. Very interesting issues. Mm-hmm. In the book of, I come back, Letting Go, also a book from Hawkins. On page 86, he sum up all the fears you can have in life. And I find it very interesting because he's not really from summing up, but here you see what he's doing. The fear of pain and suffering, the fear of becoming dead, the fear of that someone hurts you and that you have pain, the fear of living, fully reliving in 100% in your life, fully intense, the fear of loving, the fear of closeness, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of God, we talk about it, the fear of hell, the fear of poverty. I'm scared because maybe I become poor later. What should they think about me? All those people, that I'm poor. The fear of criticism. If someone's criticism about me, I don't want. I'm the best. The fear of danger, the fear of boredom, the fear of responsibility. Responsibility in your life, responsibility in your work as a leader. I don't want to have the responsibility because then I'm vulnerable. They can hit me. Also a fear. The fear of authority, the fear of making a decision. I don't want to make a decision because if I make a decision, I'm responsible for your decision. The fear of losing control, the fear of violence, the fear of manipulation, the fear of sex. because that makes you vulnerable, that creates an emotion, you create some bonding. So a lot of people have fear of sex, fear of sexual openness, fear of fear itself. So you also have fear for fear itself as last option. And you have another row extra. So fear is very in love. That's it. You see head on love. You have a question, Paul.
It's a very broad, applicable
Sure.
subject. The fear. Two of the things I found interesting in your list, like the fear of life and the fear of authority. They are also like really, really broad and deep at the same time.
Yeah.
How would you describe fear of life? It seems almost like a bit of an existential question.
Yes.
Not,
Yes, you have the fear of life and the fear of authority, if you can. You have two fears, the fear of life and the fear of authority. So Paul was asking those two questions. The fear of life. People are actually, in the deepest way, they have a fear of death. Oh, I don't want to be dead, because the process of death will be painful. I want to live here, but I don't want to be dead. If you say I don't want to be dead, then you're in the future. So there's a fear of living. If you fear of death, there's a fear of living.
Yeah.
So you have to accept the death. You have to accept the process of death. You have to finding a very beautiful, nice process of having if you're leaving this earth. If you can accept that, if you can say to yourself, my life, I did everything in my life, what I wanted. I did my passion, I did my work-related passion. I met my friends, I was open to everyone, I lived so intense that I'm happy to die if it happens.
Yeah.
Then you can live intensely, that moment. So now the fear of death, very interesting question of Paul, is related to the fear of living. So you have to accept the death, accept the process of death, then you don't have fear to live intentionally, openness, and totally be yourself, what is inside you.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting by the fear of death and the fear of living, the combination. The fear of authority is that authority is deciding something what you disagree or blocking your freedom way. So you want to have a lot of freedom because you can explore. Nowadays people are searching for freedom. They want to have their own company, freedom to education, do it your own self-studying. And if some authority is coming, fear of authority is it related to your own freedom. Because in your freedom you can go on spiritual growth. You need freedom for spiritual growth. And if authority is coming, for a dominant boss, then you create fear. Because he's rejecting, declining your educational development or your spiritual growth or the process you can offer. So there, fear of authority comes in.
And is it also related, because authority isn't necessarily bad, right?
No, authority can be good if the authority is an authority. I can give authority some value if he's writing a lot, he reads a lot, he has Ph.D, has educations, he published in science papers, then you study good, then I respect the authority on that field. Yeah. So fear is deeply related in our society, and We exaggerate fear a lot in our lives. We go in a control mood. We're seeing enemies a lot of times because of fear. We go in emotionality and in panic and in overreacting stages. So that's also what fear. We have to tackle fear. So is there a raising up fear in your life? Fear of walking on the street, fear of being in a nightclub or something. You have to think about my story. You have to think by yourself where the fear is coming from. Is it real fear? Of course, if someone is standing with a knife somewhere and wants to hit you, then you run away. Of course, it's real fear. But if the fear is based on nothing, then you have to throw it in a dustbin. So you pick your fear and you throw it away. You throw it outside your psyche. That's the mechanism of letting go, actually. So you pick your emotions and you throw it aside. Pick your emotions, right? So we are cleaning our psyche. And so we can tackle bad energies in your psyche. We can tackle the ego in your psyche. And we can reach higher stages of spiritual growth. So that's the mechanism how you can deal with fear, but based on actually nothing. We're going further to desire. Are you okay, Paul? This is a very tough lesson. A lot of deep knowledge, deeper than normal yoga classes or meditation classes. Deep spirituality, very rare if you're interested in deep spirituality. It's very unusual that some people are interested in that kind of knowledge. So special if you're looking to this wonderful video. Desire is 1 to 5. We're going easy higher in our spiritual levels. And we're going higher and higher. Desire. Maybe you can tell Paul what you think about desire.
Yeah, it's like almost the first thing which pops in my mind, that it also has some sort of a nice feeling to it, because it's in some way also coupled to the nice things in life and to the beautiful things in life. It's probably too passive, but it's also thinking about the good things.
You're actually coupled with dreamings.
Yeah.
Your desires are dreamings about the future that you're lying on the beach somewhere, you see the nice sea, and the blue sea, and you're with your cocktail, you're lying there nice with a friend or something. So that's your couple desire on dreamings. That's a beautiful point. But here we talk about desire in a negative way. We talk about desire of power. We want to have a powerful decision, then we can control others. We're talking about money. You have to go money, because if you have money, you get prestige. And then people respect me because I drive in a Ferrari on the street and everyone looks to me. And then I get attention. So desire related to attention, desire related to power, desire related to fashion, cosmetic. On the bubble of my lips. Then I look better. I look better for everyone because they get attention from guys. Cosmetics, fashion. Positive, if we go into Paul's question about dreaming about future and desire, I want to have a nice trip later on, that's okay. But the positive side about desire is that action inside. There's action. We want to reach something. We want to reach a higher level in your company. We want to reach more money. We want to reach more prestige. So what you see in this stage, that there is a want. And that's what Hawkins are saying. There's a want here. You want to reach something. And then there is action. And then there's probably also self-development. development. Never enough is also an outcome of desire. It is never enough, never enough, never enough. So action is here involved. Therefore, it's a higher level of fear, apathy, or grief, or shame. They're all passive emotions where no energy is involved. And here's want, here's desire, you want to reach something. So it is higher leveled than the other passive emotional feelings. Other thing what I think important by desire is positionalities. We are too attached to positions. We are a director, we are a manager, we are an sales manager, we are an office manager. We are in our world putting people in positionalities. We want to reach other positions. We want a minister, we want to win a minister president, we want to be that kind of function. So what you see in, we call that status-oriented society. We create positions and we want to reach other positions, and then we lose our real identity because we are too clinched. We're too clinched to our positions.
Yeah, it's very common and broad spread in society.
Yeah.
To identify with your position.
Yeah. Well, we are not our position. We are more than our position in this society. And I think that's the most important lesson here. We are more than our position. Our identity is a lot of times related to our position. If you ask someone, how is it going, or who are you? Yeah, I'm business developer by Oracle. Okay, but who are you? Now about 2 years I'm general manager by Oracle. But who are you? Don't know. So what you see is that people are so stingy, so clinched, too attached to positionalities that they don't know who they are. They're so attached, clinched to their position that they don't know who they are. It's very funny to see, and it's blocking you to grow also. If you don't know who you are, you cannot grow in your life. So that's interesting. We go further, if Paul is okay with that, to the next stage is anger. Anger 150. And that's what you see, that there are a lot of both sides. There's a lot of anger in the society. And you see that is what Oshos, a big spiritual leader, is saying that all those anger is coming out in war times. So in war times, all those underlying anger by people is coming out, or in crises. So that's what you see, that people want to fight, wants the violence to overcome all their angerness inside. So there's a lot of suppressed angerness in society. That's also what you see in World War II with the raising up of Hitler, because people are angry about the payings to France, and that was coming out. So you see also wars are related to anger feelings. Anger can also related to change. So that's good. Social justice, female into work, which you will more see, of course. So you can also see that anger, feminine empowerment, anger can also transform to some change, revenge. Explosive persons, borderliners, can be explosiveness, also a lot of anger inside in their psyche and personality. Sarcasm, if you're very angry inside, you can be sarcastic, and you can also be cynical about the world. There are also a lot of emotions involved there. And righteousness. If you're angry, people are angry. I was meeting some women yesterday, and she was so angry about the corona policy, and she was totally going in the righteousness phase. So I can see easily by people around me in which stage they are and how I can raise them up in their happiness skills and in their spiritual levels. So yesterday I met a woman, and she was very angry, and I see she's going into the righteousness also. So I am right, you are wrong, I'm right. Black-white thinking is also a lot of times involved in this anger phase. There's no nuance in behavioral patterns. Maybe you can reflect about anger, the feelings of anger. Are you sometimes angry in your life?
Sometimes when I look at the world, sometimes they say the world is on fire. You should be angry about it.
Who said that?
Like more, it's kind of activist kind of opinion.
Are they happy with themselves, those guys?
That's the first thing they should look at.
It's a reflection of their soul. It's very important. What Osho is also saying is going inwards. First by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're happy, totally happy, can you be still angry on the world or not? Or it's more nuanced? Are you hitting up at people? Pushing you? You have to feel guilty if you're not going to demonstrate. Or you feel pressure.
But I wonder if it's sometimes, because I actually had a discussion about it with a friend, because I'm more like a bit more, mostly looking for like nice things in harmony, and a friend of mine said, "Why are you never angry?"
Why are you angry, you say that?
He told it like it can be good to also just fire up and just so he was looking at it, that sometimes it can be a good emotion, maybe if you're coming from a lower state.
Yeah, anger can be involved in some change. So you can, because of anger, there come positive change. Like if you're so angry about climate change, then all the cars with pollution, I'm more pro non-pollution, because that's for your lungs not good. So I'm more on the healthcare. I'm more caring on the healthcare of people and their immune systems than the raising up of water or something, because they're always balanced in this world with more trees, more CO2, more trees. Trees are growing more because there's more CO2 in the CO2 in the air, so they're all balance the system. It's more, I think, about human health and immune system. It's good to have no pollution on this earth. So, but how more I meditate, how more relaxed I am, how more I see that our evolution is going by awareness. If people become aware, people are happy, then you see that there are more consciousness by buying good products or buying electric cars or taking care of their health. So awareness is mostly coupled also about positive influence on the society. If you're staying angry, you create also a lot of resistance, and evolutionary things are not going to happen. So evolution is also a smoothly process, and not with fight to fight. It's not the right issue, I think. And also pros, contras. Electric cars are made in Congo, so there's a lot of child abusement there. So you have to think about the pros and contras about it. But you see an evolutionary process about healthcare, that we're on the right way, and we can also be sometimes happy about the process we made. If you look back 30, 40 years ago in the Westland, where I come from, with the tomatoes, how they make there, with all those koolstof monoxide, it was, you cannot walk there. So what I heard, we're on the right track. We can also do it better, right? So, but anger can make change, yes, for sure. Next stage?
Yeah.
We go into the next stage. We're going from anger to pride. Pride is 175. There's an enormous jump. We're going slightly to positive constructive levels above the 200, but we're still in a negative energy field. Pride is that you become arrogant. You become arrogant about your status. You become arrogant because you have such a nice house and such a nice car. So your pride is an arrogant mood. Your social status is very high. And pride goes before the fall. You see a lot of times that people are in high functions, they're coming negative in their news, and they jump down to shame. That's very common in my life coaching and clients who I see, that you can be very rich, you can be very successful, and then you lose your money, you lose your job, and the world, karma is giving you a slap. Okay, be aware. Go into spirituality and you fall back in shame. Shame for your environment, that you lose all your company money. So this is a very funny thing you see in the levels. So pride goes before the fall. Football players making money, buying big cars, and then you're injured, and then you have to work by the McDonald's to get your finance position back, but you go to shame. There's a lot of things what happens in in coaching and in spiritual happiness levels. That pride goes before the fall. We're going quick, right?
Yeah.
Good. National wars, religious wars, also related to pride. We're so proud of our country. We're so proud of our religion. We're going with crosses to other countries to say you have to be a Christian, right? How you say it in English, the kruistochten, the crossroads of religious guys. We're so proud of our religion. We're so proud, and everyone has to do that. You know, there's also an outcome of pride, what Hawkins is saying in his book, that can lead to wars and to violence. So too proud of yourself is not good. And some self-confidence, of course, is okay to have. What I also see with the stage of pride in my coaching sessions is if people are saying from whom you know. So that's very funny. Your social status is related to whom you know. So if I come somewhere or people are saying, do you know him? Do you know that coach? Do you know that guy? I say always no. No, I don't know. I know an interesting guy. Oh, do you know him? No, do you know that coach? No, I don't know him. It's not important, right? So, but what the guy is doing or the girl is doing to put me on a lower level, to say, oh, do you know that coach? He's so interesting. Why you come by me then? Why you come get a coaching session by me? You know, if you're coming by me, I say, do you read that book? Do you read this book? So if people are doing that, they try to put you a little bit down and talking from pride. Oh, I know so much books. You haven't read that book? Or I know so much important people. You don't know even them? So they're acting from pride. Do you recognize that behavior sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes I think. It's also common in the business world to just think of yourself higher if you just know more people or better people. But also the term pride, it's not exactly about the point you were just telling, but another association I have is like the pride events you have in society with the marches for example, the whole LGBT community. It's very it's very well known, like celebratory thing. How do you look at that?
Hawkins is using the word pride. I'm also not really comfortable with it. If you look pride, then you see positivity, and it's more arrogance, pride. But I don't think there's a better term for it. You can say arrogance, pride. I think that's a better term here. What Paul is asking, we have a lot of pride events about people from the LHTBIQ community, and they show that with those events they show that that they're allowed to show themselves who they are. And Paul is asking me the opinion about what I'm finding from that it's maybe too exaggerated or too much, or
I don't know, because this is still in the negative kind of emotions you say. So would you suggest to give it another name, or is it just maybe
mostly if you
or is it like a negative kind of emotional event?
So actually, if we talk practical, that if people are sitting on a boat or something with a pride event, if it's positive or negative for something, or I think what's too much is not good, and too little is also not good. So I think the middle way is there okay. But what I heard about the LHGB community, people from there, they say that it's sometimes too much, and then you create aversion in society, and also it doesn't matter who you are or who you have sex with men or girls or transgenders or whatever you are, that is not your real identity. Your real identity, we come later on that, is your spiritual identity, is not your ego identity. So the most important is that you share love and kindness to this world and what kind of person you are. And it doesn't matter if you have sex with men, sex with women, are you building from a penis to a vagina, or you are clothing male clothes or female clothes. So it's not important for me, it's more important who you are inside. I think that's the main important question we have to say about ourselves, and to look in our mirror and don't to show off. And that's also what I see, to show off that you're gay, that you show off that you're straight, that you show off that you're a transgender. I think there the negativity arises more, and then you create aversion in society over there to not showing off what your sexual identity is. Small part of your real identity actually is.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah.
Wow, great. Then we are on the same line. Then we go further to courage. We go into positive levels now. So be aware. We go away from negativity to positivity. You are the one, those people are watching home, are the 26% people who are becoming constructive in that life, who are becoming happy in this life. And that we see by courage. 200. This is the stage, and the stages are overlapping. So I talk a little bit staccato, but you can be in different stages, right? 5 stages, I think, max. You can be in there at some range where you can be in. After you go above the line, under the line, so it's a raising up in different stages, so you can see this kind of spiritual stages. Yeah. It's not segmentary, fragmentary or something.
Yeah.
Courage is that you go into a coach. Paul is taking coaching by me also. Coach, life, we want to improve. You want to learn yourself, self-reflecting, self-mirroring. You want to make something for your life. You want to have a job that fits by you. You want to create a job that is fitting by you. And life is stimulating the work you want on yourself. Self-development, personal development, job skills. You want to reach something in your life. You want to make your life meaningful. That's what you're doing now, right? You want to make your life meaningful, and I hope for you that you found a good coach for it. Or coaches, for more people who can inspire you. So make your life meaningful. That is courage, because you have to look into yourself. You become vulnerable because you going to coaches. You show yourself. You're not in a stage from anger and from shame. I don't need help. I don't need a coach. It's nothing for me. I'm good who I am. So you're now in the courage stage to do something about it and to work and progressing. And you're not draining energy out of society anymore. That's also more society related. The 74% who are under the 200 for the people making 80% of all problems. So criminality, bad behavior on the street, criminal activities, fraud, whatever. So what you see is, if you want to improve the society, we have to raise our conscious levels, then become more happier, then there's no need to steal things, not to have bad behaviors, whatever. So there's also a society issue here. So courage, very important. You take action. We go from action. Pride was action. Wanting, desire was action. We want to reach, and we transfer that wanting into wanting personal development, growing into yourself, meaningful life. So you see here the energy relating to what Hawkins talk about. Clear?
Yeah.
Nice. Neutrality. What are you thinking by neutrality, Paul?
I think of being not judgmental.
Why? It's great. I have here on my paper.
Yeah, I think it's positive to not judge other people, but to maybe look at yourself, maybe better to be curious than judgmental.
Yes, right. You're less judgmental, so you don't have direct an opinion about someone or some subject. So you evaluate first. First you look to the person you met the second time, and then you create an opinion. And not direct, I don't like your shoes, so you're a bad person. So you're not like non-judgmental anymore, not quick, a realistic view.
Yeah, not too quick.
And you're ending the black-white thoughts. So nothing is black-white anymore. Of course your chessboard is black-white, but you don't polarize anymore. You don't see groups as one group. Black-white thoughts are very ego-related, so if people are very strict, rigid, then I know, okay, where you are a little bit in these stages. Well, if I don't get this job, then I will get another one. If you reject it by some employees, then you say, okay, that's probably not fitting by me, then I get another one. So you not be angry, just shouting to the guys, hey, why I'm not here? I'm the best person. Revenge mood, anger mood, yes, correct. But that's the meaning, what you're giving to yourself. Okay, I don't get this job, then I get another job what is more fitting by me. You have a very stable inner confidence in this spiritual state. You're very confidential about your system, about your energy, about where you are in life.
In some way, maybe it's the opposite of anger. Yeah.
Opposite of anger, yeah.
Coolness.
Yes. And you're not interested in conflict and competition anymore. So you don't want to be involved in a conflict. If you have a conflict, you have to fight. In a situation, you have to fight. But you are not searching for conflict. You are not searching for debating. I'm right, you're wrong. You get that that mouse talks. We talk a little bit about lower spiritual levels and mouse talks and society talks. I agree with you, you're not agree. That car is no pollution, that car is yes pollution. Oh, the racing of the water is 0.2%. Oh no, it's 0.6%. No, it's 2%. I search for it. You know, you go into kindergarten level if you talk about that. You hear also if people are watching football or something. No, I found Messi the best. No, I found Rivaldo the best. No, I found that football player the best. So you get a black-white, you get righteousness, and you get some ego competition there. I was always very tired of that kind of discussions because I was already higher in my levels. I was tired when there was some football or something of those discussions. So that's sort of the more society mediocre talks people have. I hope you recognize that behavior.
Yes.
Can also be on the work, right? If you're coming here, colleagues, and there are discussions there about I don't know, the weather is good or the weather is bad, or like rain, or there's all those bullshit talks, right? So you can recognize there the conflict, ego competition, non-judgmental, and black-white thoughts in once. Go further. It's a long road. It's a long road. I know. It's very valuable information for your whole life. I'll fall back on this question.
Actually, I have one general question.
Sure.
Maybe it's not the right time, but you can determine. I was reading somewhere it's a logistical skill. Is that right? And if so, how does that impact? And will it get harder every time you go higher? Or?
Yeah, very interesting questions. We have the levels from 20, 30, 50, 300, 400, and we go to 1000 to Enlightenment stage, of course. And Paul is asking the question, okay, is it logical skill or it is exponential skill? Well, it is the right answer is the last one. So every point you go higher, it's difficult to reach. So later it's difficult to reach higher spiritual levels. So you go easy, higher in your spiritual growth, and then it's less easier to go high on the hill. So that's also always so with muscle training. You go from 6 kilos, biceps, 8, 12, and then you have to work very hard to go 2-3 weeks later or 14. And so it's the same situation of spiritual growth. So it is not that you probably can fluid into all those spiritual levels and spiritual growth. So the answer to the question?
Yeah.
Willingness. 3, 10. is the gateway to higher spiritual levels, the gateway. So if you reach this level you go higher, you become more friendly in life. You say friendly, so simple, but it is true. You become more friendly to people if you reach this stage. People are not your enemies anymore. People are your friends, and you react friendly to your surroundings. You create a career for yourself and not for others. So people are doing a lot of times things what the society wants from you, or your family wants from you. They pressure you, or you have an example there, and you're going in that career. But in this moment, you choose your career, what's fitting by you, and where you get energy from. So you choose your own path, your willingness, your own path. You want to have your own path, and mostly they're very excellent students. You become a student. Your whole life you become a student. But in willingness, you have the will to study all your life. That's this stage, 310, that you want to grow further in life, and that you want to reach higher spiritual. This one's quite clear, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Acceptance. $3.50. This is that you live in harmony with yourself. You take responsibility of your life and the effects. So it is not anymore that you say it's always out there. The other people's responsibility, your life is a reflection of your soul. So everything what happens in your life is karma. Everything what happens can be related to your bad actions. And that is what you accept. So acceptance is the acceptance of karma. It's the acceptance what happened in your life. If I have a very good mood, there happens so much positivity towards me that I can reflect that I have a good mood. Or I'm very high in my spiritual levels, then there happens a lot of good things. If I'm not good during the day, that's not anymore so much in my life. I'm quite stable on a high spiritual level and happiness level, but then there happens bad events during the day. That's what you a lot of times see. I mean, maybe you can recognize that if you feel bad, that there happens bad events during the day.
Yeah.
Cars, tutoring, or traffic fights.
Yeah. Love, Murphy.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't, maybe if it's also coupled if you're not so stable, or if you didn't sleep well, or have a lot of things on your head, you're not stable, you can more easily get distracted or angry during the day.
Yes, I think there's also tiredness involved.
Yeah.
A lot of times, so people are tired and they don't function well. Indeed, yeah. If your mood is bad, then negative things are rising. Could be. That's what I see in my life, actually. You become more spontaneously. We're always in the Western world. We are more in fixed patterns. So we're thinking A, B, or B, C, and here it is. Okay, let's do spontaneous things. We have some time. Let's do this. Let's do that. So you become more spontaneous because you're emotional calm. You become more emotional, stable, calm, and then you have the power to do spontaneous things. So sometimes if you want to control or you fear, then you do a schedule, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to do a schedule at that time, because otherwise I can do this or that. And here there comes slightly more space for spontaneous moves in your life. And they give your life some sparkling. So that's what you see in this stage. You prefer long-term above short-term goals. So you go into, you spend money not for candies, but for machines who can make candies. So you go into a long-term vision, but I should not mention candies, but something like what you give something back about a few years, right? So you invest in knowledge about spiritual development or something to reach higher levels later on. So long-term above short-term goals become more powerful in this stage, and your self-discipline is rising in this stage. So very self-disciplined, very disciplined people are going to acceptance stages. Which you no doubt about that, about self-discipline, and reading a lot of things and watching a lot of YouTube videos. So that's it's very great. Any questions here?
No.
Reason 400. This is the happy few in society. Nearly 8% of the people are here. They have nice jobs, good paid, a lot of technical jobs, lawyers, bankers. They work with their minds. So people are studied, they have finance, they're going on trips, they have good cars, they have a nice family, and they create, not always, but always sometimes added value. They don't go in criminality, you call it een goede burgerij in Dutch. So they have your own company, or they do innovation work, successful people, not too rich, not too poor. They create added value, and they have good paid jobs, so they don't fall in criminality. So they have higher value, added value in the society. So that's what you see in this stage. But this stage is also a stage of philosophers, Einstein, Nobel Prize winners, who are fully working with their mind and doing a lot of intellectual work. So the happy few in the society or in reason. This also block for higher levels. A lot of times, if you're staying in your mind, you cannot grow. So a lot of people are rationalization about themselves, about what happened in their lives, and they're staying in the mind, and the mind is like the mind is a machine, right? It's a circle relation machine, so you cannot sleep sometimes because your mind is overturning. I was always in my mind a few years ago, always there, always thinking about what's happening around me, what I'm absorbing. Now I'm more in my line. We're going later talk about that, about chakra activation, a line, a Vitamnadi line, and that you can be with your mind in your line too. It's another form of energy too. So reason is always a big block to grow higher stages. We saw that neutrality was a gateway to higher levels, and willingness and acceptance, and we see here that reason is a block. It's really a block what I see to people who want to grow in spiritual grow, to go higher, because they're stuck in their mind. There.
Yeah.
And we go further, and we're nearly there, because because we go to 700 until 1000 is the same stage. We go into love. 500 is the love phase. And the love phase is not the romantic love relationship, but that is unconditional love for your surrounding, for the subjects you discover, and for the people you meet. So unconditional and a permanent state of love. I was there 2 years ago. I was on this stage because I loved every subject I was discovering. I loved every girl I met. So your love is another form, it's an unconditional state of your surrounding, full with forgiveness, and lift other people up and took them with and say, you have to read this and that. Is very interesting. So love is a state of attitude here. We're not yet by opening up your chakras, that's higher states, that's some more ecstatic states, but we're here still in our psychologic world, in our social world. So love is that you're not interested anymore in one field in your life, but that you are able to discover more fields and they relating to each other. What also thing from love is that you can recognize the core issue from a problem because you can relate all those subjects with each other. So you go into a company and you can feel everything. That's the core issue. So you can see things from whole the picture because your mind is less fragmented than an average reason mind. Reason is fragmented. You do one field, very deep in the side. Love is more fields, but you can oversee the whole picture and you can recognize the core issue or the core problem in, example, company-related issues. 4% of the people on the world are here in love. Only 4 of 100 are here. And you don't give a lot anymore about material value. So houses, cars, or whatever is not really important for you anymore. More important is personal development and personal growth. You see here that people want to invest in themselves, in their happiness, in their spiritual growth, than that they are invest in holidays, big houses, and that kind of thing. Because they want to become full and they want to become complete. Clear?
Pretty clear.
Good. Then I'm a good teacher, right? Love. It's very useful, right? You don't have to read all those books. It's really, I think it's 2 months work. Book per week. No, not 2 months.
That's tough, yeah.
No, not 2 months. I think 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks in total. But it's very deep. It's deep literature. When I began with reading about spirituality, it was tough. Standing here, I have to look back. Okay, what's he finding here, right? But now let's go after 3 years. It's going easy, and you know that I read a lot of books, right?
Yes, I do.
540. We go to joy. 540. We go to joy. We go from love to joy, and it's a little bit strange, right? I told you love is a very broad emotion, and you love different people, you love different subjects in your life, and now I say joy, and you think joy is when you're going, driving with your car very fast on the highway. Oh, that's joy, I'm joy. But this is inner joy. So I have to say E is inner joy. Inner joy is an emotionless joy. And this existence, it is 0.4% of the human population are here in joy. And what is joy is related to small glimpses. And now we transfer from psychological development to inner spiritual esoterical processing is the opening of your hidrada. Your opening of your hidrada is a small point right to your chest, 2 centimeters from your middle is the beginning stage of spiritual opening of your Amrita Nadi line. So we're going here from talking to my experience in spirituality and talking about the opening of ecstatic points in your body. And when you reach joy, you reach small, slightly glimpses of the hidrada, of the right chakra in your body. That is self-realization. That is letting go. Then you go into healing, into spirituality, and then you create compassion to the society, to other people, and you create patience and persistence. Patience for the surroundings and persistence in meditation and contemplation. Observing, effortless, everything goes smoothly in your life. Je maakt je niet meer druk om allerlei dingen. You not have thoughts about, I don't finish this subject or that. You be staying emotional, calm and relaxed because your hidrada is flickering, is glimpsing inside. And you surrender to all the belief systems there is in society. I want to talk about later about belief systems and what society is telling to you and what is not good for your spiritual level. So inner joy is small, slightly glimpses of ecstatic feelings in your inner body. And later we do the stabilization of the hidrada. First is glimpses of the hidrada. That is inner joy. Nothing else is inner joy than that. For you it is strange to her because probably you don't feel the glimpses in your body, right? Or you feel.
Well, I think, why is it just glimpses? Why can't it just be like, why can't just this level be a stable, a more stable kind of consciousness level? Because glimpses doesn't sound stable.
Yeah. The first glimpses are always unstable. So sometimes you have to flicker in.
Yeah, that's what I understand, but this level, you can be on this level, right? Can you be stable on this level?
You can be stable, unstable.
Okay.
So sometimes it's a flickering and sometimes not. So that is this inner joy.
Yeah.
So inner joy can be unstable. You have sometimes the flickering and sometimes not the flickering of your hidrada, of your chakra openings. If we go higher, and these are the stages, but it's not clear what is opening up. I only can talk about my own experience here, is peace. And we go to 600, that is the peace stage. We're going into peace. It is 600 peace. And peace is really more the opening of the Amrita Nadi line. So your glimpses become more stable. So if you're going later on meditation, the first thing is opening the hidrada, the glimpses of your hidrada. Then it is the 3 hearts on a row. Then it is your crown chakra and palm chakra activations. Then we're going in peace, in compassion, in God consciousness. Then you, there I'll talk later, but then you can infinite silence of mind. You stop rationalization, conceptualization, you stop with overal verklaring voor zoeken. You building up charisma, you become more visionary, you come more in the future, and you go more out of time and space. And maybe I have to tell that to you, if you feel the inner chakras in your body, you become more out of time and out of space. That means that time is going very quickly, very fast, because you're very happy. Maybe you have that the time is very slow. That means that you have to do an activity which you don't like. But if you're very happy with yourself, if you feel your inner ecstasy in your body, then you're so happy that the time flies, that you think, oh my God, it's now already 2 hours later. Space becoming less important, because every time in which room I am, I'm even happy. Don't know where I am. If I walk in a park, I'm even happy if I walk in some other place. So space is not really important anymore for you. So what I see the last 2 years is holidays is not only the escapism stuff, but also the stuff that if I walk in Moscow or I walk in Budapest, I'm happy with this line. So that's the same situation if I be here. So there's no intention, real intention. Oh, I go there and discovering another church, another souvenir shop, another street, another building. It's all the same.
Yeah.
You go, what he's saying, you go out of time and space, and also it's not really important anymore what kind of activities you do. If I train, if I teach, if I write, because I'm always here with my line. So if I talk to you, I'm always with the line. I always think about my line. My mind is tuning inwards.
Yes. So this level is connected to. I think it's a quite maybe not really well known, but I've heard of it, like the so-called third eye, which I think also is a book of Hawkins about. That your silence is more silent because you can observe yourself.
Yeah, witnessing.
Yeah.
So you're witnessing yourself. So I'm out of the psychology stages because I tackle the shame, I tackle the anger, I tackle the fears in my life. I had some fear, was walking alone on the street in evenings between groups, because people are a lot of time watching to me, because my energy is some different than other energies, and I'm tall and long. Some people, who's this guy? So I did Krav Maga courses, 3 months, so I really learned to fight, and so now I'm not scared anymore to walk in groups or going out or whatever. So that fearness is away. So what you want to tackle all the fears in your life. But I'm out of now the psychology analyze about myself. I did it 2-3 years to self-evaluation, self-reflection about what is going on in my mind. Am I scared? Okay, where does scaring come from? I'm not happy with it. So you reflect yourself. So you learn to reflect yourself. That is one thing of witnessing, of observing. It's the psychology of observing. The other kind of witnessing is going into your Amrita Nadi land. It's going to your third eye chakra, your crown chakra, your hand chakras, your palm chakras. And that's a trick. You have to learn it. Mind, body, consciousness. Mind, body, awareness. That is something you learn for 3 years. I already do it. To go inside. Every time I talk with you or I talk to you, I'm inside. I'm inside my body. I feel my chakras. I feel my hand chakras radiation very high. I feel my crown chakra warm and ecstatic, loaded inside. So there are 2 terms of witnessing and observing. So you can observe your thoughts, your emotions in the early levels, and then becoming in the stage you're going more energetical, witnessing and emotion, and then you become quiet in your mind. You think, oh my God, this guy is telling so much in English. He talks so much, he knows so much, but I'm not in my mind. My mind is very efficient. My mind is very clear. my mind is very empty. I can talk for hours and hours if I want, because I'm in my energy line. I operate from another energy level, from another energy system. It's very unusual, it's very...
Yeah. Why do you call it another system?
It's another energy system. It's another source. I have the feeling that I'm reborn. I was lost. My ego entity is away. I don't have an ego anymore. The ego entity is away. I'm reborn. I renew. I had a period in some months, the last 3 years, that I was lost. I don't know who I am anymore. And then the Hidrana was rising up. Then the Hidrana was there. And then the line shoots open. I remember that moment on the scooter. I was sitting on the scooter and I was going inwards, and pooch, the line was shooting open. And I was thinking, what the fuck is happening here? What's here happening here? Then my crown chakra was shooting open, and that costs a lot of energy to stabilize the crown chakra. And still I'm working so hard to the crown, to opening up and staying open. And then the palm chakras was shooting open. That was amazing. My ex-girlfriend was saying, oh, your palms are warm. Your palms are warm. Wow, amazing. Jesus was telling about healing from your palm chakras. The healing force over there. It's an aesthetic force in your body. So that is the deepest form of spiritual evolution.
Why is there a healing force?
There's healing energy. There's pure healing energy in my body. So if you opening up the Hidrana, it is pure magnetic healing force, or mental, but also physical healing. I never did it, or I never touched people on their ankle or something. Maybe later, I don't know. I don't know if it's sitting here with other people, then if someone hurts, I can do it, or whatever, but not only the energy field is mostly enough. There's one guy who can feel energy fields. He say, I feel the dawn by you. I feel the energy for you, the spiritual energy. But mostly only people who are very high in their energy field, those who have eyes, can see others. So if most people are very sensitive and I can feel the energy. So this is the opening of the Hidrana line. Sometimes you feel drunk. I say drunk, you're social drunk or something. That's very strange, but you become drunk without alcohol. You can become very happy without drugs, you don't need it anymore. Yeah. So I tell some of your friends, I feel so drunk this time. So drunk, because I'm already here in the Amrita Nadi line, my new energy source. Yeah. So your mind is going to work different. It's very efficient. And also what I mentioned is that you forgot what happened. Normally your mind is scared, is from evolutionary perspective, is jungle mind. So you want to, oh, what's happening 2 hours ago, I have to remember it, because maybe it's fear, right? The fear of losing knowledge. The fear of, I have to remember that event because maybe that guy 2 years ago can be also strange now. Or I can see him another time, so I remember the face. It's from fear, right? So a lot of things are from fear-minded. So what I mentioned is that I don't know anymore sometimes who I speak with or something 2 hours ago. So you go living totally in the moment, you forgot your past events. Therefore, your mind is not scared anymore, therefore you don't have to hold a lot of useless information. So therefore your mind becoming more efficient. There's a lot of rubbish in your mind. So my mind is much more efficient than the so-called average mind. So that's also what he describes in the book. You can deal with hunger, you can deal with thirst, because you have a new energy source where you can speak out.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. All activities become ego. Yeah, don't know what I'm doing. I'm always with my line. So So the happiness is staying the same. Yeah. Yes. Also fitness is going much more easier with this line. You don't really feel pain. This one is interesting, it's page 188 of Let Go. The person who has found inner peace can no longer be intimidated, controlled, manipulated, or programmed. So nobody can manipulate you anymore. You become stable and strong. This is what I'm feeling now. I'm feeling very strong. I have very high self-confidence. Because I know this knowledge from this line. I feel it. I feel the line. So this is my stability. The crown chakra is what he's writing in the presence of God. And that is what I want to go, is the halo. The halo is the wholeness. Thich Nhat Hanh had a halo, Osho had a halo, then you see the warm field around you. Here. So, the halo.
See it?
The guy here was feeling it. If you're going higher, maybe you see it too.
I can feel some energy.
Feel the energy from me.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. Then you're receptive for my energy. What do you feel?
I can really feel you have some sort of an energetic balance, some energy in you which is really pouring out of you.
Yes. It's going into you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's really very remarkable. It's really
Therefore you're here. That means that you're also very high. Because if people are very insensitive or very big in their ego, then they're not really receptive for energy, or it goes a long coaching triad before that they're on a high level.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm not that stable yet, but I think
you can grow.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, I see you can grow. Your eyes are very receptive and sensitive. Very sensitive character. So you can absorb.
Yeah.
You can go higher. If you go work with me, you go higher. First you carry it. But other people are seeing also that I'm a slight light energy field around me. It is some light field. You feel the energy, you feel the dome.
Yeah, I can really.
That's great.
It was really my first session with you.
Yeah.
It really felt like a dome, I think, because it was like quite overwhelming. I could feel it in my head even.
What you can describe?
It was. It was really on an energy level. It was like almost like feeling the mysterious forces of the energies in the worlds at work. Like your energy transferring to mine in some way.
Wow, it's great.
Really magical.
That's great. Wow, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I work hard for it. It's arduous effort, enlightenment, and it's higher stages. Osho is saying it too. It's meditate. Going inwards, reading, other schedule. But it's delivers so much pleasure, so much happiness. It reaches in my life. It's very special. Yes, that God or another thing is pushing me in this way.
How would you describe it?
My ecstatic feelings.
Yeah.
It is emotionless fallback mechanism. So you feel that there are points in your body who are flowering, who are ecstatic, low. Sometimes it's higher than other times. It depends also about the tiredness levels of fit. So it's one day is higher than another day. But they are warm and ecstatic, low. And they're very peaceful. Tranquil or something. It's relaxed. It's kind of drugs. I never use drugs, but Osho was saying that this is 10 times LSD or something, 100 times LSD. So I'm in a kind of social drug state. It's crazy, right?
It is really
it's crazy.
very fascinating.
Yesterday also I was walking, I was doing a course about Buddhism and it's a philosopher, and I was giving a session. I was going there to Naarden fasting. It's a very nice place, I think, in Netherlands. And I was constantly here and within in my mind, in my crown. Listen to his bad stories. And I know the secret, right? I know the secret. I know where Buddha was talking about. And he was talking about these feelings. And I don't say it, I don't say it a lot to people. I'm not the guy who's saying, I feel what Jesus was feeling. I know what he was feeling. I know it for sure that it did ecstatic inner feelings. He was going to meditate on the mountain. He was not going to a church, he was meditating on a mountain. Buddha was 6 years of meditating in the forest. I know what Krishna was feeling. I know what Mahavira was feeling. I know what Ramana Maharshi was feeling. But I cannot share it so easily because people don't understand it, they don't feel it themselves.
Yeah.
But if you open yourself up, it will be happening because you're very young. And if you want it, then you will also becoming one of my first disciples.
That would be...
Well, it's special that you feel it, right?
Mm-hmm. I can definitely feel it.
And they are receptive for the energy. Yeah. So Buddhism and all this stuff is a pre-stage. If I read it for enlightenment, so it's all the psychology mechanism. You see all the religions, Christianity, also a lot of they hang in the spiritual, in the psychology stuff. No ego, behavioral patterns, and this is useful, but there are very tiny teachers in the world. Going further than knowledge, further than ego, further than mind. So they don't let them manipulate anymore. So I have my own wisdom now, my own intelligence.
Yeah.
That's the line. The crown chakra and the line and the palm chakras. And the longer you are in the field, the more enlightened you become. So you're now already 2 hours and 50 minutes. So the more you're in my energy field, the more the transfer is going higher and you raise up your raise. So maybe you feel...
Maybe it's an interesting distinction. You talk about the difference between not manipulating anymore. That's more the psychological level.
You're manipulated by society.
Yeah.
To not become enlightened. We talked about slightly earlier in our session. Then you become uncontrollable anymore If everyone do this, everyone becomes nearly homeless. So you have a small home everywhere. Everyone becomes very happy. Everyone cuddling each other. Everyone outside. So there are no workforce anymore. No police. Society is blocking that a little bit to becoming higher. Except the drugs world, no drugs anymore. It's a billion industry. Just 10 times more drugs. What I feel inside. Police systems will follow this kind of society thing. But how longer you are in my field, how more you reach my level.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. Maybe you have the situation if you be coached by me and then you walk on the street and it's another different level and you fall back or something.
Well, I can feel it definitely when I'm in other groups with other energy levels,
Yeah, it makes you more tired, I think. I see. The halo, that's my purpose now, is to hold the crown chakra. Crown chakra is the most difficult one to reach. I feel now slightly my crown chakra. Slightly. But to hold them very powerful with this next stabilization process, and then the halo will be active. So you get an halo on your head. Tignatana de halo, of Jesus de halo. So you get an energy field around your head. One thing made me scared about that is that everyone's going to watch me on the street. I met one enlightened guy in South France, and he had a whole warm energy field around his body. Everyone
could see that.
Yeah, so let's make sure it's very firm, right?
Yes.
And my ex-girlfriend from Moscow had also an halo on his head. And I scanned a lot. I see so many people in my life. We're dating, coaching, and on the street, and seeing, and I saw her walking, and I said, bam! I saw the halo on her head. I was thinking, I have to approach these women. So I say to her, do you meditate? How do you know that? I see it on your halo, on your face. And it's connection we have. So beautiful. Beautiful women. Male and female balanced. She had a little bit male face, but she was also very female. It's very strange. If you become enlightened, you become optimal balanced. So your male energy and your female energy become on the same level. That is what happens in enlightenment. You become whole, one. You become whole. You create a kind of bisexual energy field. That's what you see. That most people who are becoming are more bisexual minded. But it was a very strange, excited meeting with her. And what he's saying is, one of million has that energy field, and
right now, when you wrote it,
and I think it's true. I think it's true. There are so less people who are interested in this. They're interested in religious, but not interested in enlightenment. It's still a factor there. I look around in the Netherlands and I didn't see anyone with kind of fields or something still yet. One of million reach enlightenment 700. Non-ego is a way the halo, the crown chakra opening stabilization is 1000. So also there. And then you go to 1000. 1000 is halo. Halo is 1000, there's non-duality. Maybe you heard about non-duality. This is non-duality. You've written so many books about non-duality, about conceptualization, about giving up paradigms and that kind of bullshit. This is non-duality. Non-duality is oneness. You become one with your line. You become one with your crown. You become one with your palm chakras. You become one with your three hearts on the row. You become one with your third eye chakra. You feel them slightly inside. That is non-duality in the optima forma. That is non-duality. Nothing else is that non-duality. You are first dual and you become non-dual. You are first fragmented, you are now whole. You are one, you are aim. Oneness, bridge. Jesus called it about a bridge. You have to bridge yourself. That's what Jesus is talking about a bridge. The bridge with yourself is the bridge with your Amrita Nadi line. It's the bridge with your inner self, with your crown chakras. So you have to make a bridge from your mind turning inwards. This is what Jesus talked about, a bridge. Self beyond mind, you go above the mind. Self about the mind. Ja, wat je ook zei, participate into the world is difficult in groups because you share energy to it.
I'm actually very much more aware of it since I met you.
Yeah, you're losing energy because you're probably on 500 maybe, I think, and then a bit of gas. You're still a little bit in the learning motivation. You're in the courage. You take coaching. Met people, interesting love phase, so I see that phases. You started with your Hidra opening as your next level, but the groups are on under 200, right? So they're 170. Group dynamics are always very low. So what happens in your energy is that they are 170, 180, maybe some higher in your environment, maybe 200, 250. And then you are 500. So therefore you become empty when you work.
Yeah.
So we have to find a solution for that. Therefore you are by me, by the deep coach. Because I recognize that. So I see the combination of spiritual levels and work realizations. So you become empty.
Yeah.
By me you come full, I hope. I'm seeing empty with your mind, with the knowledge, but energetically you come full, right? I hope.
Yes.
Because I'm raising you up. I become empty for you. No, I become not empty. I can give, because this energy line gives me so much energy that I can't stay giving, and giving. A brain function, die is nog wel interessant bij de Mother Man. Kan ik u wel laten zien. About brain function 79. Zij kan heel goed de kern uitvissen telkens overal. Dus doe die love face. Patch. Kern is kenmer van beknoptheid. Misschien merk je het wel. A lot of people are talking so much, but the density is very low. Here you see the brain function maybe one. I show Paul the brain functions of enlightenment and higher stages, that your brain become different. Your brain actions become different in higher enlightenment stages. And Paul was feeling my spiritual energy and feel the dome and feel that I'm connected with my chakras and that you feel the spiritual energy. But you see here that your brain is becoming work differently. You go from left brain dominance to right brain dominance. You're going more non-linear, and it's more spontaneous movements and not artistic forwards. You go more peace. First you're in fight and flight, adrenaline, that's your energy source, but they're more temporary. Now you go into peace, endorphin. In long-term perspective, long-term energy grows, positive emotions. Your immunity raises up. It's important for Corona, right? If people are raising up your immunity with spirituality, then you can tackle Corona much more easily to stay in destructive energy fields, in the stress and the fight and flight and the alarm and the resistance, the thymus stress, who is going neurotransmitters, serotonin, who is going down your killer cells and your immunity. So it's deeply related to spiritual growth psychology. Track to emotions slower. You react slower, more from a distance. You're more from, more reflecting, not acting so quick. I don't need a coach. So that is about your brain mechanisms becoming chasing. If you're in enlightenment stages and you feel the chakras in your body, and I want to show you one page. Is 409 of the Eye. It's the most thickest book in his work. Is the Eye. Very thick book. It's nearly 500 pages of work, and I put for you the most important factors. Is 409. 409. He told here that if you open the halo, the chrome, then it is 1000. Then you're nearly on 1000. That's the energy field of Christ, Krishna, and Buddha. So my goal is to go to 1000 and stabilize my crown chakra and reach the halo. So then you're very rare from great value of society, because one guy of very high value in spirituality can lift up others. So only if I walk somewhere I can lift up others. Non-ego, non-violence, more relaxing, less stress. So that's what you reach if you're very high in your levels. You can lift up other people's on higher stages for the divine spirit. And yet another important page is 488, and maybe I think Paul finds it very interesting page. It's about the deeper levels, what happens in the stages from 600 until je kan de volgende bladzijde. Then you see what is happening in the stages from 700 until 1000, what exactly kind of stages there are in between, and that is very, very rare information. And I have the feeling that Hawkins was not really there. He was talking about opening of crown chakra, but I have the feeling that he didn't have it himself. That is not very interesting questions about what happenings between 700 and 1000, what kind of stages there are, and the great fault you see. I didn't recognize that stages by myself. I think it is deeply related to Amrita Nadiland opening. What you can see here, what kind of stages there are to 2000. 2000. It's very interesting information, very rare in this world, that people are fighting this kind of knowledge, because then you had to be very high in your spiritual level, and also your spiritual knowledge. Jesus was doing 14 years of education before his enlightenment. He was enlightened in his crown chakra, I think, from 30 years old to 33. Then he was killed because it makes you very vulnerable, someone with that energy field. Buddha was doing it in 6 years. 6 years of suffering in the forest and meditate. So, but we have now the knowledge. Buddha was living 2.5 years ago, and Jesus was living 2020 years, 21 years ago, and he had no knowledge, and he was self-discovering. And now we have the knowledge in the books why we can reach, how we can reach higher levels. So I'm in a more favorable position, although that the society is more rational, mechanical, and you have to really escape from society and make another schedule in your life to not fall back in mediocrity consciousness level. So Osho was saying you have to escape from society. You can be into society, but you have to escape from the small group dynamics, because that lowering out your energy levels. Yes, I think we are a little bit on the end of my teachings today. I would like to thank Paul, and also if Paul has some questions on the end of the story.
Thank you very much for the extremely interesting seminar. I found it highly fascinating. No question comes to mind at this time, but I was highly intrigued.
Wow. Paul was highly intrigued by the knowledge. He had a very nice seminar, and I would like to thank you for watching my video, and also thank you, Paul, that you were here to support me, and I wish you all a very wonderful day. Hi.